Good morning.
Hello, good morning, everyone. We are live on a Medicare cafe.
As you can see, our fearless leader, Olivia, is not here with us today.
Yes, so I am coming in and trying to do my best to replace her, which, of course, we all know she cannot be replaced.
No, she cannot. I love you, but she,
I
can't
place.
replace her. You can't
Yes.
replace her. She's just Olivia. She's
Most
the best.
definitely. She's the best. So I will do my best today, but I'm Sadie Palmer. I was on last week. If you joined us on our old platform, I was there every once in a while. But yeah, I work here at Senior Marketing Specialist, and of course.
And I am Carrie Vogt, your other host today, and Olivia. So she is this is a pre-chat. We haven't officially started the cafe yet. The pre-chat is where we hop on and just talk a little bit about anything that's going on in the industry, what we had for breakfast, how awful we are at technology. So with that said, yes, please just bear with us as we are figuring out this technology. So see, just like this, how do we get this back off?
Click transition.
Okay, see, she figured it out.
There's going to be a nice ambiance of chaos here, which I feel like is very cafe-esque anyway, but just go with it as we figure out this technology. Another thing that Olivia's always manning up, so we're figuring it out, but all should be well.
Remind me what it's called. Isn't it like Medicarian?
Medicarians,
is that what it's called?
Yes. So it was previously the MedSup conference, but I think
it was that.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize they just changed their name.
Yes, I think a new company is working with it and kind of trying to rebrand it because I think more and more conversation about MA kind of entered the chat, if you will, at the MedSup conference. So now it's called the Medicarians, and it's in Vegas this year, and we have a big team there. Do you guys have people at SBS?
I don't think we do. To my knowledge, well, we could. I just don't know.
I do know that, like in previous years, they had a free agent day. And I know that now that it's Medicarians, it's not a free agent day anymore. There's not one day. So it's, I think you have
more
to pay.
Limited. Invite only?
Well, not invite only. You just have to pay price to go. Okay. And so there might be less agents this year. It's still, it sounds like it's going to be an amazing conference, but they don't have that one free agent day. But if anybody's planning on going still, we at least have a team. Olivia will be there. Olivia is actually there representing Medicare Cafe.
Yes.
So hopefully, if any of you guys are here, or maybe some people aren't here because they're there, of course, go say hi to Olivia and go say hi to her team. They'd love to chat with you.
And hopefully she will come back with a slew of information that we can share with you guys on the cafe.
Yes, she always does.
Yeah.
She always does.
Well, I was just telling Sadie about an email I saw from NAHU. It's the National Association of Health Underwriters. That they had said, and I hadn't read the whole article yet, so TBD on some of the information, but just the heading intrigued me. It said that in 2020, it was the first year that original Medicare costs actually had a decrease by 6% in their costs of like what patients are actually using, which I thought was just crazy.
That is crazy. And whenever you first said that, I was like, oh, wow. But actually, the more that I think about it, maybe I feel like we talked about that here. Surely that was something that was talked about here. Not like on the cafe. I just mean like here at Senior Marketing Specialist, which is crazy. And at first, I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. It was like utilized more, I guess.
That's what I was thinking. But really, when I looked at just the image and what it was is there was such a decrease in use of like, it was mostly, what were the two areas? Procedures and just doctor's visits. Because
that makes sense.
People weren't having the elective knee surgeries. They weren't having, the hospitals were for COVID sick people.
Yeah. Wow.
So just thought that was interesting. Maybe I'll go back and read the whole thing and update you guys. But just thought that was really interesting.
I'd be for sure interested to read that, just because that's definitely something that is going to be one for the history books and probably won't ever happen again. I guess if something crazy happens.
I think it said there's been 2 decreases in use in the last 2 decades. And it was like by 0.5%, and this was a 6% decrease. Wow. So that's like a huge percentage.
Jeez, yeah, I'd be super interested to read that article just because, I don't know. I feel like that's something that Dan Mangus would do a whole talk on, and it would be like,
absolutely,
blow my mind.
All right, guys. Yep, it is 10 o'clock.
Let's go ahead and get started here. I will try to...
I think you got to drag it up first.
There we go. Okay.
Welcome, guys. If you are just joining us live, Medicare Cafe host today. I'm just gonna let you transfer it. Sorry. Bear with us with technology today. As you can't tell, our fearless leader, Olivia, is out today. She is at the National Medicarian Conference learning all kinds of things. And so today is your host, Carrie Vogt, as always. And today we have joining us also.
Yes, I am Sadie Palmer. I was on last week and I've been on Medicare Cafe just every once in a while. Normally I'm in the background, kind of helping out with background stuff. But
yes,
I'm happy
she
to
does
be
all
here.
kinds of things for us, just kind of behind the scenes.
Yes.
And you will notice today there is no texting line. That is because that texting line goes straight to Olivia, and she is not here. So if you want to communicate with us, please just leave it in the comments and we will still read them, but the texting line is not here today.
For sure. And if you ever have any questions, by the way, if you ever have any questions on how to set up an account so that way you're able to talk on the live chat here because we're able to see it a lot faster than the text line,
yes,
you can shoot us an email, contact Senior Marketing Specialist, and we would love to be able. We've done that for a few people, gotten you set up with that. So that's just kind of a side note.
Well, today we are going to be talking about networking and referral partners. If I have any bread and butter in the Medicare world,
yes,
it's this.
Yes.
I love talking about this.
You are the networking queen, really. Whenever I can't think of too many other people that would be better for this topic.
I'll take that designation.
Yes.
I'll wear that hat.
Yes, of course. Whenever I think of networking and referral partners and stuff like that in this business, you are for sure the first person that pops in my head.
Well, I'm honored.
So, yeah.
Well, let's dive in. So I think the first thing we're going to talk about is just who can be referral partners. And really, I always tell people, don't be closed-minded about this. Don't think that it's a one-size-fits-all of who can be referral partners. Think outside of the box. It can be really any professional in your community. It could be a client of yours. The third bullet point here, I have many of these. It could be any just advocate, I like to call, in your natural market.
What does that mean? Can you explain that to me?
So, for instance, my best friend's mom, I don't know why, but she just is gung-ho. She loves the services that we provide. She has sent me so many clients. She's in her, when I first started, she just turned 65. But when I first started, she was kind of familiar with Medicare, and she just told anybody and everybody, you have got to go talk to Carrie.
She's the perfect client.
Yes, she is now. Yes. And so anybody, or it could be your dad. It could be your aunt, could be your grandma.
Yeah.
Anybody that I just like to call kind of in your natural market that can talk you up.
Yes. For sure.
To their friends or neighbors, whoever.
100%. And people, we talk about this all the time, but people love to refer their friends.
Yes,
people
exactly.
love to refer, there's already that trust there, but people love to help out their friends, especially whenever you're kind of part of a small business, if you will, like this. So always be talking about your services. And people, hopefully everyone has a cheerleader in their life that's like that, but she's quite literally the perfect, that's free.
Yes,
she's doing it on her own.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
And even as far as, so she's one that, kind of going off on a different tangent, but if I post something on social media, there's a few set of people that if I post a video, I'll ask them hey, can you share this for me? Because I know they've got a big network.
Yes.
So, and she's happy to do it. She does it now without me even, asking her. But initially, I would ask those clients that I know are good advocates or those in my natural market. But, going along with it could be anybody that could be a referral partner. To not be closed-minded about it, ways to grow your referral partners, grow your network. These are just some of the things that I personally have done to get involved in your community. Number one is your Chamber of Commerce. Every Chamber of Commerce they're pretty much in every city, maybe not small towns, but the chamber is a great way to network.
Yes.
There are, how do we get this out? Just go back down.
Pull that down. Yep. Okay. There we go.
Just so you guys can see our faces. So our local chamber, they have quarterly, huge annual 600-person events.
Mm-hmm.
They have small, little committee events of 10 people. They have lunches. They have dinner meetings. what I love about the chamber is it's just a wide spread of ways that you could connect with people. And it's everybody, every type of business that you could imagine is in the chamber.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know, does SMS have a big presence in our chamber here?
That would be something I'm not entirely sure about. I feel like we might, but maybe not a big presence at all. I do know that growing up, my dad owned a business, and I mean, he was in the cellular business. He wasn't in the insurance. He owned a bunch of U.S. cellulars, like around the state, and a big part of his networking was just being part of the commerce. I mean, that's how he knew. Granted, we were from a small town, so he kind of already knew all these people anyway, but it makes such a big difference. And just to your point of there are different people, all different professionals, all in one room.
Exactly.
So it's a very easy way to meet all the people that are serious about networking too. Right. They're all there for the same reasons for you. So definitely.
And you also have to factor in cost. And the chamber, you know, that's one that I don't think you kind of might get out of it what you put in it, you know. So if they have huge events, but I think it doesn't cost too much to be, you know, an annual member. But then, you know, if you go to every lunch, you know, that might cost you a lot. If you go to every meeting, that might add up. But you're going to get out of it what you put into it. Yeah. Same thing with the next one should actually be BNI. So BNI, you're good.
I was wondering what BNO was.
You're good.
I was like,
I probably had a typo on what I sent you. So BNI, which I've kind of talked about before, that is a huge commitment.
What is it?
It stands for Business Networking, I think International. I think it's a worldwide organization. Yeah. And so here in Columbia, I think we have 6 different BNI groups. And that you pay, again, a fee to be, it's typically between 20 to 40 people, depending on the group. Every week you meet with the same 20 to 40 individuals. And how it works is there's one profession that fills each spot. So there's one Medicare expert. There's one realtor. There's one plumber.
Yes.
There's one carpet guy.
Okay.
And so it's very similar to the chamber, but, you know, there could be 20 financial advisors in a chamber. Yeah. So this way, Business BNI is really about referring business.
I love it.
Every week you're meeting with the same 20 to 30 people. They are hearing each week about your business. Yes. Each person, and each one can be structured a little bit different, I think, but, you know, each person every week gets a couple minutes to say what they do, what they're looking for that week, if there's something specific that they're wanting, and then each week, at least in our group, there's 1 or 2 professionals that have like a 20-minute full-on presentation that dives deep into what they do.
Wow. Okay.
So the thing with that is it's expensive, but you are with the same.
Yes.
It's a close-knit group.
There's something about that to me, and I don't know if this is necessarily like 100% true all the time, but there's something to me that feels a little bit safer about those networking partners, because whenever you kind of just meet a networking partner out in the wild, you don't actually know what you're going to get from that relationship. You might be referring a lot over, and they're not necessarily giving back.
Absolutely.
And to me, that group feels like something where maybe you could have more comfort in knowing it might be a little bit more like reciprocal, I guess.
So that's really the initiative, and that's kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing is sometimes there is like a pressure in a BNI because your referrals you have to keep track of them.
Sure.
So it does hold you accountable, which that was one thing that kind of sometimes can be a downside to it if you aren't giving referrals. But BNI can truly be great. I, to this day, have some of my best referral partners came from BNI.
That's great.
That I was not expecting, and I think I've mentioned them before, but one was a Mary Kay consultant.
And I love that. That makes sense to me.
The other was a like Mr. Fix-It guy. And both of them helped. Their like biggest clienteles are 65 plus women.
Yes. That's amazing.
And so had I not joined that BNI, I would have never, ever, ever thought that I wouldn't have met those people or been in a referral situation.
That is an excellent example of just kind of talking to anyone and everyone about what you do.
Yes.
Because even out in the wild, like let's say you didn't have that BNI group. Obviously, you met them through that. Let's say out in the wild, you happen to kind of create this relationship with this Mary Kay consultant. You know what I mean? It's just like you never know. They come from all over the place. Yes.
Exactly.
Love it.
The other one, which kind of stemmed off of BNI, for me at least, is coffee groups. So there are so many casuals, the word I was looking for, casual coffee groups around town. Me and some of my good friends, actually, we started one. And, each month we just kind of invite a person to come.
Cool.
So it's casual. There's no we keep track of your referrals. It doesn't cost you anything other than just the coffee. There are also, I know at some of the coffee shops around here, there are also a bunch of retired people that meet every morning at 6 a.m. for coffee.
I love it.
So you're also kind of,
dream.
Seeing some, prospective clients also while you're having coffee.
I love that. So this might be a stupid question, but are they like business coffee groups, or are they just a coffee group that happens to be with other like young professionals?
There's both. So we have some that they're typically young professionals, which is another bullet point on here while we're talking about young professionals. There are tons of young professional organizations. If you guys are typically the ones I'm familiar with is if you're 40 and under. But it's the initiative to, not everybody has experience networking. Mm-hmm. Not everybody has experience or feels comfortable in a big 600-person chamber event.
Right.
Just networking and putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
So some of the young professional groups are really good for that.
I love it.
Just kind of dipping your toes in the water in the networking world.
Yeah.
But there's just all kind of coffee groups. They're just more casual, at least the ones that I'm familiar with, or start your own.
Yeah.
That's what me and some of my friends did.
Yes.
We just started our own. We kind of come from 3 different backgrounds, and we each invite a different person each month.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just us. Sometimes we have a great turnout.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah. Another one on the list is Rotaries. Rotaries are awesome for 2 reasons, in my opinion. Again, just the networking of Rotaries. There's also many options for Rotaries of when they're, not everybody has the same schedule.
Right.
Just like chamber events, Rotaries, I think we also have 6 Rotaries here in town. Some of them meet in the morning, some of them meet at lunchtime, some meet in the evening. So you can pick what is going to fit best with your schedule.
Yeah.
But Rotaries have different speakers each event. And so one thing that I also visit Rotaries, but I have also spoken at different Rotary events. I have been the Medicare experts that has come in and done a Medicare 101.
Yeah, that's awesome. But also, you have done enough work and enough networking to get to your spot of being the Medicare expert. So I think that even just like being able to come in and do that sort of thing, was it a little bit after you'd been networking? Like, how did you kind of slide in to do that?
The first one I slid into, I knew somebody that like ran the Rotary. And so I just straight up asked, I said, can I come talk about Medicare? Because I knew I had visited that Rotary before and I knew that they had kind of an older demographic.
Yes, that's perfect. Yeah.
And it was great. It was a great, I love, if you like educating or talking in front of a group, because again, you never know who you're talking to could be one of those advocates for you or be a client themselves or have a mom or a neighbor, whoever it is that will need your services.
Yes.
So just try not to think outside of the, in the box. Think outside the box.
Yes.
Goodness.
The chat box is a little quiet today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying not to take it personally.
Is our sound on? Okay, last time.
Okay, good.
It is on.
Okay. If you have any well, let us know, like, what are your favorite networking sort of ways? What are the ways that you have networked? What are some ways that you are wanting to network in? Let us know kind of your viewpoint and what you're doing with your business in the chat box.
Please do. The next one I have on here, I think it's on. Yeah, that's up, right? Okay.
Yes.
Is country clubs. So this is one that, maybe you're a part of a country club, maybe you're not, but country clubs have all kinds of regular events that are schmoozing. What's that word? Schmoozing?
Yeah.
Schmoozing?
Yeah. Schmoozing.
Golf, whatever it is, at the pool. Like,
Yes.
I mean, whatever. There are so many events at your local country club
Mm-hmm.
that, again, that one might be more out of your price range. It might not be. You might already be a member of one.
Sure.
I am this AEP. I'm talking at one of the local country clubs.
That's awesome.
I reached out to them, gosh, in January, I think it was, and they said, we're finally doing events again. Our schedule is absolutely full, but we would love to, because the country clubs themselves put on events for their members.
Yeah.
And I said, would you have an interest in having a Medicare event? And they said, absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
So again, don't just be narrow focused. Think outside the box.
Well, and also, a country club. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good. I was going to go to the next one.
Country clubs are a social club primarily,
yes.
And so that's a great place. That's a great example of people refer their friends.
Right.
That's their circle. That's who they hang out with. That's who they talk with. That's who they socialize with. So if you're in that circle, that's opening up a big group of people to connect and relate to and be able to get easy clients.
And at country clubs, a lot of them are retired individuals, which are probably on Medicare.
Exactly.
Senior organizations. This one, just get on Google, guys, and look up senior organizations in your area.
Yeah.
We have in our area something that's called the Senior Network, and it is literally a network of individuals who help the senior demographic.
Oh, I love that.
It costs like $25 to be a member, and they meet every month. They have a different topic. People in that group are, hospice care providers or geriatric care managers. There's a financial advisor in there. Anybody that might, there's a personal trainer who focuses on the seniors.
Yes.
Just, again, thinking outside of the box, but there are senior organizations. There's people from the senior center that are in that group. So look in your area. Google's your friend of what is, you might have a senior organization in your area. The last one is volunteering. So there are several, again, senior geared nonprofits. Like we've got Meals on Wheels. There's services for independent living. I'm sure there's tons more that I'm not thinking about.
Sure, yeah.
But volunteering, if that's something you like, volunteer at some of those places. And again, you're just getting your face out there. You're getting your name out there to those people that could be your clients or could be good referral sources and networking.
For sure. And then, the emo side of me, I'm a blue, if anybody knows what that means. I'm a very emotionally driven person. But to me, I'm like, that's also just another great way to get out there and be involved in the everyday sort of activities of the people that you're serving.
Exactly.
So then it also, like, you're intersecting into their life in a different way, but then also you're gaining the perspective of how you are helping them in their everyday life, which is huge for you and your drive. And then, also, again, you are connecting with some of these people on a more personal level other than just their insurance.
So I used to drive for Meals on Wheels, and I was also on their board. And I took the same drive. I had the same route of delivering meals. So you get to know the people.
Yes.
And eventually, don't just be salesy and pitch what you do.
Right.
But, a lot of times they would ask me, well, what do you do? You're just volunteering. And I said, well, I do, but I also help seniors with their Medicare and, boom. Oh, well, and I always gave them my card and I said, well, I'll come back later. The last thing I will say about all of these organizations, about getting involved in your community. The best way to make these networking opportunities, I feel like, worth it is if you actually get involved on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Get on the boards, get on a committee. It's great to go to the event. But again, at a 600-person chamber event, you're not going to have many intimate conversations.
Right.
If you get on the board or get on a committee, again, you're going to be in a tight-knit group that you're going to meet people on a deeper level and really build that trust so that they can become referral partners. They'll see how passionate you are about what you do, and they'll want to send you business.
Yes. So Scott was saying I belong to local community groups like Lions Club and Optimist Club.
Those are awesome.
Yes. I thought of like first thing that came to my mind with that stuff was like the Elks Lodge and like
yes,
stuff like
I couldn't
that.
think of the Optimist Club. That was one I was going to put on here and I couldn't think of that one. So yes, thank you for sharing, Scott.
If I have a question, and this might not be
all right, you're going to have to help me switch slides here. Sorry.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
We're killing it. We're killing it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No,
I should
that's
just let
fine.
you lead.
I was just going to say if there was like, is there a like number that you might have in your head of like a good starting goal of, okay, if you're brand new to networking and getting involved in this stuff, you should get involved in like 3 of these or something like that. And the only reason why I ask is because it might feel like drinking out of a water or a fire hydrant, you know, of like, okay, well, where do I start? And, you know, you say, go in deep with it, like get involved in it. So how many do you think, just off the top of your head?
I would say before you decide that, visit all of these, look them up, and see what you're comfortable with.
Yes.
You know, before you just full on join a BNI, it's intense.
Yeah.
You have to be committed. You know, you're going to spend a couple $1,000s to be a part of this group, and you make sure that you're willing to do that 1 week.
Yeah.
Every week, 2-hour commitment. That's a lot.
It is.
You know, or maybe you want something more laid back. Start with the chamber. You know, you can join these places as a visitor. You don't have to just go all in right away.
There we go.
Get your feet wet in all of them, see what you like, and then maybe decide which ones you want to hone in on.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I was first starting out, this was pre-kids when I was working a little bit more, but, you know, I spent 30 hours a week networking.
Wow.
That was either in a group or, you know, inviting somebody to coffee and getting to know them personal on a deeper level. But
I love that.
Yeah, so we got one last slide here. I think it's this last slide. Yes. Yeah. These are some of just what I would say, you know, again, in my experience, can be top referral partners. I think many people hone in on number 2 for pharmacies. But for me, financial advisors, they have been my top referral partner.
Yeah, that's your thing.
That is my thing. And, you know, I came from that background, so I saw the need for it. But also, there was just a recent article. I hope you guys can still hear us. We have an error on our YouTube, so things might be a little slow. But there was just an article on, again, it was in NAHU, saying that it was called the blind spot in financial advisors. It's a whole article about how the blind spot in financial planning is Medicare. Guys, that is your end. That is, it is truly a blind spot. So many financial advisors try to do it all. They do the insurance or, you know, estate planning, life insurance, retirement planning, all kinds of investment management, of course, but they don't do Medicare. And that is a huge piece of financial planning. Yeah. When you are heading into retirement, you want to make sure that you have your health insurance squared away. And so you can be that expert on a financial planning, at a financial planning firm. I couldn't think of that word.
I think that that's one thing to keep in mind whenever you go into networking too, is it's not just all about, it might make you feel a little bit more comfortable to know that it's not just all about like, you scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Yes.
Sometimes there is like, you're networking with people who have a legitimate need for you.
Oh, exactly.
It's not just like, oh, I'll give you a little bit, you give me a little bit, kind of help each other out. It's like, you go to these financial advisors and they're like, oh, thank goodness, yes, I would love to refer my partners to you.
I have had, particularly over the last month, more of the financial advisors that I work with, they have verbally told me like, thank you so much for the comfort. They've used the word comfort that you give my clients, and it's something that we haven't been able to give them.
Yes, that's great.
And a lot of times advisors don't know that there's people like us out there. So reach out to them. Tell them about our services. The next one is pharmacies, which many of you, might think of that as a referral partner. At least, at SBS, I think that's kind of the go-to when you think of who's a good referral partner. And they are
They're
great.
Yeah.
There are so many local pharmacies in your areas. There's also the small mom and pop ones. There's the big dogs like CVS. Get your foot in the door if you can. They can always be great referral partners. And I know at some of them here, I have, if they'll let you sat outside during an EP,
little kiosks. Yep. Yes, for sure. I know some people from my hometown, they that are agents. They have
what they do.
really great partnership with the pharmacy. Yeah. Like, I almost think of both. When I think of the pharmacy, I think of them. That sort of thing.
That's awesome.
Yes, exactly. So it's especially in smaller communities, man, get connected with those pharmacies.
Exactly. Because so many of their patients ask the pharmacists for help on their Part Ds, and a lot of them don't want to take the time to do it.
Or they don't, or like the pharmacist, that's not their job.
No,
so
that's
a lot
not
of
their
them
job.
Don't know. They'll know maybe a little bit, probably not much more than that person.
Exactly. Other insurance agents, I work very closely with a couple State Farm insurance here. They do the home and auto and the life. They can even quote MedSups themselves or sell a MedSup, but they know I can get it for them at a better price. There's also other insurance agents that don't do Medicare. So get connected with other insurance agents in your area, and they can be a great referral partner. And they speak the insurance lingo. So they will understand how important it is also what we do and be able to express that to their clients.
Well, even just for networking purposes, becoming friends with other people that sell Medicare products too.
Yes.
Like, that's huge too. I know that Mike, the former host, whenever he sold, he was in a bigger metro area. He was in Kansas City, and he would talk about all the time about how important and how great it was for his business and him just selling generally to have a network of people that do the exact same thing.
You learn from each other.
Yes, you learn from each
Absolutely.
other. You have a friend in the business. You can go to coffee and you can talk about what's frustrating you. You can talk about all that sort of stuff. And also, there were a few times where it was like, this client is not working out for me. Can I send them over to you? And vice versa.
Absolutely.
That worked out. That worked in Kansas City, you know what I mean? And I feel like there's always room for that to happen, really, in any area. But I think becoming friends and networking with your competition, like yesterday, I heard it's 10,000 people turn 65 a day. Like, there's so much room. There's so much room to network. There's
nowhere is oversaturated.
Exactly. There's plenty of people to go around. So I think that people shouldn't underestimate being friends with their competition.
Yeah, absolutely. It's only going to make you better.
Yes.
Because you'll learn from each other. I kind of touched on this one a little bit about professionals in a niche senior market. One of my good referral partners, she is a geriatric care manager, and she just helps seniors basically stay independent as long as possible. That's her goal. And so she does things with them like connect them to doctors or connect them to help them order their groceries, whatever it is to get them to stay put as long as possible and be independent. And she refers them to me. I help them with their insurance.
That's great.
There's all kinds of other, types of professions that niche in the senior market.
Do your research. That's one thing that I'm learning here today is do your research of what's going on in your area because there could be a lot more than what you think.
Physical therapists, occupational therapists, really anybody that is in the medical field. I specifically said physical therapists because I come from a family. I have 3 physical therapists in my family, and they see on a daily basis. They talk, they're sitting there treating somebody very closely for 45 minutes to an hour, and they talk about everything. Medicare gets brought up. So have them get buddy-buddy with some physical therapists in your area and tell them about what you do and how you can help their clients. Lastly, HR departments. This is one that, if I had a goal this year, it was to deepen and expand my HR referrals. But, if somebody is getting ready to retire, leave their employer plan, they connect with their HR person. They have to do that before they leave, just the legality of everything before you retire. That person right then can say, hey, if you need help with your Medicare, here's Carrie.
Yes.
Here's Sadie.
Yes, that is
perfect transition.
So big. That is so big because that's such a those are kind of a lot of people that agents are going after, those turning 65.
Yes, exactly.
And so having that in right there is fantastic. And also, a lot of times HR departments don't actually know anything about the benefits.
No.
So for them to be able to say, here is someone that you can go to that will actually be able to answer all of your questions, that makes them feel good by sending them off to someone else. But I mean, it will make that person feel so secure right off the bat.
Exactly.
So yes,
the HR departments that I've connected with, I started by taking them to lunch or coffee or whatever, or meeting in their office, bringing it to them, and doing a Medicare 101 presentation.
Yes.
And they were like, oh my gosh, there's so much to Medicare that we have no idea. Here you go.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
So educate them first, and then they will educate their employees on how much they need you.
Yes.
Was that it? I think that was all we had today, guys.
It is. Let's go ahead and pull this up.
Yes. If anything else, any other questions that come up about networking or referral partners, please feel free to reach out. Or any topics that you'd like to hear about. Hopefully Olivia will be back next week and have updates for us on Medicarian. I keep saying that wrong, but I think it just sounds wrong.
I know it does.
It sounds wrong.
It'll take a few years to catch on, I think. That's just my opinion. You didn't hear that here. But everyone, please go like our Facebook page on Facebook. Our
Medicare Cafe page on Facebook.
That's where you like Facebook pages. Also, join our group. We have a Medicare Cafe agent page and then a Medicare Cafe agent group. Join our group. That's where you can talk to other people in the business, talking about networking with other people in the business. That's where you can chat with us. People from our team, Clayton, Chaylin, and Ben, they have been posting Facebook videos all the time. They're really good stuff. We have some polls on there. It's just a great way to communicate with us at Senior Marketing, or Medicare Cafe and Senior Marketing Specialists, but also for us to communicate with you, where we're putting in videos on like compliance updates and just
lots of resources.
Lots of resources. So please go join that. It's a great way to just kind of connect with the other people here in the Medicare Cafe community.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, we will see you guys next week. All right. Do you think we can get the sign off?
Oh, yeah. Do I start it?
You start it.
Okay, I can do it.
Until next time,
have fun,
make money, and give impeccable service.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.